Hi everyone, my name is Sumaya Ahmed and I am the Virtual Content Specialist for 7th grade science. In this video, I will explain how to give constructive feedback to your peers. First, what is constructive feedback? Constructive feedback is useful, encouraging, and meaningful feedback to help someone improve or lead to a more positive outcome in their work. It is not a general comment, not emotional or disrespectful, or an insulting comment. The main purpose should be to highlight strengths and suggest how they can improve. This is important because it helps everyone reflect on their work and share their knowledge with their peers. So today I will be showing you two ways you can give constructive feedback. We will be reviewing the sandwich feedback model and the tag feedback model. For the sandwich feedback model, think of a sandwich. There is the bread on top, there are fillings in the middle, the delicious stuff like cheese, meat, sauce, or other toppings, and another slice of bread on the bottom. So if we relate this to the feedback model, think of the top slice as the praise, achievement, or strength in their work. So that's the first part. The middle part is suggestions on what could be improved. And the last part is another inspiring praise or comment on their work. So here I have some sentence starters you can use while giving this feedback just to spark your thinking. For example, for a praise, a positive part, the first part, you can say, I like how you, or you did a wonderful or excellent or great job on, or this is quality work because. And for grows and next step, which can be your improvement suggestions, you can start with you may need more, or your next steps might be, or the part about blank is a little confusing. You could, and then give your suggestion. So here are some more examples on how to phrase your feedback. For example, if your partner needs to change or fix something, besides saying fix this or fix this part, which is a general comment and not constructive, you can say, we think you need to reorganize your blank. Here is how we would change it, or here's how you could change it. And give specific suggestions as to what they can change. As you can see, the weak feedback is general and the strong feedback is more direct and has specific suggestions for improvement. The second feedback method is the tag method. So the T stands for tell them something you like about their work. And here are some sentence starters, like the best part of your work is blank because blank, or I really like this part of your work because blank. So the A stands for ask them something about their work. For example, what do you mean by blank? Or I'm confused by blank. What do you mean in this part? And the G stands for give them a suggestion for improvement. And you can use these sentence starters, such as I think your next steps should be blank, or one more thing to improve on is blank. So this is called the tag method. So here I have an example of a rubric and examples for the two types of feedback we just discussed. The rubric is just one part of a larger rubric, so this part is just one part of a larger rubric. But for these examples, we can just focus on the changes in biodiversity section of that rubric. For this part, the student describes how biodiversity is important to ecosystem health and explains how small changes in biodiversity in the Andes lead to large effects on the ecosystem services and natural resources. And this can be assessed in 4 levels. A4 is the advanced, 3 is proficient, 2 is developing, and 1 is emerging. Now, one tip while giving feedback is to use your rubric as a guide. The rubric tells us the requirements for the project and how to evaluate the task or project. So, let's say you want to give feedback using the sandwich model. Remember our sandwich model? You start with the praise. Next, you have a suggestion for improvement, and then you end with another praise or word of encouragement. So for the example here, for the sandwich feedback model, I wrote, I think the best aspect of your work is your explanation on how small changes in biodiversity can lead to large changes in the Andes ecosystem. For the suggestion for improvement, I wrote, a next step may be to elaborate on why biodiversity is so important for the Andes. And then for another praise, I wrote, I really enjoyed this because I learned a lot about biodiversity in the Andes ecosystem. Keep it up. So again, you have a positive, a suggestion for improvement, and another positive. Now let's go over an example using the tag feedback method. So remember, we need to tell something you like for the T. For the A, we need to ask a clarifying question. And then for the G, we need to give a suggestion for improvement. So again, we can use any of the sentence starters we discussed in the previous slides, and I came up with this. So I started with, I think the best aspect of your work is your explanation on how small changes in biodiversity can lead to large changes in the Andes ecosystem. For the ask a question, I wrote, I'm confused on the part, and then I just specifically wrote an example. You can just specifically refer to the part that you are confused about, where you explain the importance of biodiversity. What do you mean in this part? And lastly, for give another positive feedback, it's perhaps you can elaborate on how biodiversity is important to the Andes ecosystem. So as you can see, the feedback is specific and direct, and it refers to specific parts of the rubric and the sentence starters to frame the feedback. To summarize, we reviewed two ways to give constructive feedback: the sandwich feedback model and the tag feedback model. Feedback should be constructive, it should be useful, encouraging, and it should help the peer improve their work. Thank you.